Hi, my name is Erin Wharton. I'm a water supply specialist with the Natural Resources Conservation Service, NRCS, and I work for the Idaho Snow Survey, which is part of NRCS, and we measure the mountain snowpack and let folks know how much snow is in the mountains and then how much water is going to be available, especially for farming and agriculture and things like that. So let's get into it. Today I'm going to talk to you about what snowpack conditions are, just where we're at as of February 3rd. Then we'll get into why we have the snowpack conditions that we have right now. So we actually have a pretty low snowpack right now in Idaho. We're nearing record low snowpack. We're sitting at about 70% of normal, and I'm going to explain what that means. So here we're looking at a graph of what the snowpack accumulation looks for the whole state of Idaho. So we're not looking at regionally yet. We'll get into that more later, but we're looking at this black line, and that's showing how the snowpack has accumulated in the mountains across all of Idaho. So along the horizontal axis, that's time. So starting from the fall, going forward into the spring. The black line is the current snowpack conditions, and we're going to talk about what snow water equivalent means. It's just the water content in the snow. And then that green line that you see in the middle is what we call the 30-year normal. So it's what the average snowpack is over a 30-year period. That's 1991 to 2020. And so when we say the snowpack is 70% of normal, that's what we're comparing to. And you can see we had some accumulation in the snowpack. You can see where the line just like kind of goes up pretty straight there. And then come January, we hit this dry spell, and you can see that it just flat lines and that we haven't had much snow accumulation. And you can see that it's inching closer and closer towards that red line. And so that red line is like the minimum snowpack that's been historically recorded on these days across Idaho. And you can see that we're getting really close to it. So we are nearing a record low snowpack. What the good news is that snowpack typically peaks around April 1st here in Idaho, and that gives us 2 months left to build the snowpack. So even though we have low snowpack conditions, we still have time to recover. This is a map of the snowpack conditions across the state, shown by different watersheds. So this will be a map that you'll see a lot through the winter. So I just want to take a second to orient you towards it. So again, we're looking at Idaho watersheds, and those yellows, orange, and reds are showing you where we have below normal conditions. And then the blues and greens are showing above normal conditions. So most of it you can see has below normal. It's either orange, yellow, or red. You can see it's very below normal snowpack down in the southern part of the state along the Utah-Nevada border. As you go farther north, this is like the Boise area right here. This is Boise right here. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but this is the Boise Basin, and that's sitting at 66% of normal for the snowpack. You can see that's all below normal. And then as you go farther north, also below normal. Where we do see some bright spots for near normal snowpack is this area here in the center. So these are called the Wood and Lost River Basin. So this is like the Haley Ketchum area, Cary, Idaho, over into Arco and Mackay area. Those all have above normal snowpack. And that's mostly because the mountains are pretty high in that area. So the SNOTEL stations at those high mountain sites are recording that there's still actually above normal snow pack in those areas because, like, again, in December it was really wet. So those areas actually got some snow. As you move farther east, this is a part of the Upper Snake River water system in the right side, and that actually goes into Wyoming. So that's in the Jackson, Yellowstone area. And so that green area, that's the area that's above what's called the Palisades Reservoir, and that's sitting at 96% of normal. So that snowpack's actually doing pretty well. And again, it's because those are high elevation mountains. But when we look at other parts of the Upper Snake, so that's in the Henry's Fork Teton, so that's like where the Henry's Fork River begins, that area, like Ashton Falls River, those areas, that area is below normal. They have a little bit lower elevation mountains. And then if you look kind of into the southeast corner of Idaho, it's also below normal. And that's because those are lower elevation mountains. So there's still time, but we do need snow. This is the same graph we've been showing you. This black line is this year's snowpack. You can see how it just went horizontal because of how dry it was in January. And then I just wanted to show you that what last year's snowpack looked like across Idaho. And so that's that blue line that you're seeing here. And last year we also got one of these like really dry spells in January. You can see it going really flat. And then all of a sudden come February, it was right around this time, the storm started hitting and we saw a big increase. So I guess my point is that, we've been in this situation. This happens a lot where we get these dry spells and things can change around where you get all of a sudden big storms coming in. It totally changes the situation and you can reach a near normal snowpack even if you're like this low at this time of year. So this year we're at 70% of normal compared to last year. We're at 85% of normal. So we're still a bit below compared to last year, but we have 2 months left in the snowpack building season. So I'm feeling optimistic. If you want any information, you can go to our snow survey webpage here on the left. There's a QR code there, and you can find current conditions maps that are you can just click it, and there's a map that shows you what the snowpack conditions are. And then on the right is our interactive conditions map, and you can look at all sorts of things there. You can look at soil moisture, you can look at precipitation, you can look at snow depth, you can look at how did a storm change the snowpack situation. There's a lot more information you can get off that. So thank you so much.